Coming up, how the UND community is remembering a 19-year-old flight student who died in a plane crash. How North Dakota lawmakers are planning to use their federal funding. Plus, where teachers are accused of taping masks onto students and why students say it was happening. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
He was just a really well put together kid. Every time he went to class, he always showed up in khakis and like dress pants, dress shoes. He was really put together.
The UND community is remembering a student killed in a plane crash last night near Buxton. The university says John Hauser, a commercial aviation student from Chicago, was the only one involved in the crash. Several vigils were held tonight honoring the 19-year-old. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor is live in Grand Forks with more. Nishay.
Stacey, things are starting to wrap up, but if you take a look behind me, there are just a handful of students still outside this fraternity house for the vigil remembering student pilot John Hauser. The members of Delta Tau Delta fraternity welcomed the campus community to join in on the remembrance as everyone tries to stick together during this difficult time. At another vigil held earlier this evening, some students spoke about how this situation highlights the lack of awareness of mental health within the aerospace profession. One student says the loss of one of their own is going to add to the pressures of maintaining good mental health, but he offers advice on how to cope.
First and foremost, have faith in the community here. This is an organization with so many amazing people in it, people who really care, and I think leaning on that closeness is really what's going to get us through this.
Now, I did try to speak with members of the fraternity, but they declined to comment out of respect of the family. In Grand Forks, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Thanks so much, Nishay. Tonight, all UND aerospace flight training activities remain on what they're calling a safety stand down. Fellow aviation students say the crash is an eye-opening reminder of what can happen.
I'm pretty sure everyone's feeling like sad. It's sad day in North Dakota, loss of a student, so it's pretty sad news. It's more of an eye-opening event. Like, aviation is dangerous.
The cause of the crash has not been released. Several agencies, including the FAA, are investigating. To the forecast, colder today, but even lower temperatures are in store. Hutch has a first look for us. Hutch?
All right, thanks so much, Stacey. Yeah, we're watching a few different things as we head into the evening hours. The changes have already begun throughout the day. We noticed our afternoon temperatures some 20 to 40 degrees colder than yesterday. And as we go through the overnight, there's a chance for some of us to get that hard freeze tonight, particularly in northeast North Dakota. Then for tomorrow, we're watching that chance for some rain and may even in the morning hours mixed with flakes for a few. We'll have much more on that, location, timing, and all of that here in a minute. Then Thursday, it's going to be mighty cold. We're talking morning temperatures 18 to 30 degrees across the region as things are going to be on the chilly side. So here's what we're watching. Once again, you want to take those precautions now. Make sure that you're ready to protect those plants by bringing them in. There should be some nice weather following this cold snap to enjoy those plants and outdoor gardens yet, but you may want to protect them. Disconnect those garden hoses. A hard freeze is in store. That'll effectively end the growing season. I'll have hour-by-hour details on all of this as we're watching snow develop out in western South Dakota already. I'll have details on all of it here in a moment.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. New for you tonight at 10. Highway Patrol says distracted driving is to blame for a semi rear-ending a vehicle on I-29 today. That happened just after 11 a.m. at mile marker 11 northbound on I-29. A Valley News Live viewer shared this video with us. Highway Patrol says the truck driver, 59-year-old Mark Mehrher from Iowa, was cited for both following too closely and distracted driving when he hit a small SUV driven by an 87-year-old from Aberdeen. She and her passenger, a 53-year-old woman, suffered minor injuries. A Detroit Lakes man is in jail after leading a sheriff's deputy on a chase in a stolen vehicle in Becker County. Deputies say at first a car was stopped in a passing lane. When the deputy attempted to speak to the driver, they say he sped off, leading the deputy on a chase going more than 100 miles per hour. That chase lasted about 12 miles. Police say Edward Bullio eventually stopped the vehicle and started running. He was arrested and is being held in the Becker County Jail on charges of receiving stolen property and fleeing a peace officer. Bemidji police are asking for your help identifying the person on your screen. They say they're looking for them in regards to an ongoing investigation. They're asking that if you have any information, you call the number on your screen, 218-556-2593. Bemidji police are asking for help finding a couple of teenagers. The first is 15-year-old Osmond Hunt Fairbanks. They say Osmond was last seen on Gregg Court Friday night wearing a white Nike sweatshirt and black pants. Osmond has brown eyes and black hair and is believed to be in the Bemidji area. The second is 14-year-old Chauncey Weiss. Weiss is 5'10" with brown eyes and black hair. He was last seen wearing a yellow sweatshirt and black pants. He's also believed to be in the Bemidji area. If you know where either of these teens are, you're asked to call police 218-333-9111. 381 Minnesotans have died in car crashes so far this year. That's according to the Department of Public Safety, and that number means 2021 could see the most car crash deaths since 2007. Fatal car crashes are up 23% from last year, and if they keep up the pace, Minnesota DPS says this year could see about 475 deaths. A large fire under I-35 sent thick smoke billowing over the interstate this evening in Duluth. Fire officials say it was a homeless camp under the interstate that went up in flames. Firefighters responded and put it out after an hour. No one was hurt. The cause is still under investigation. A state audit shows the North Dakota Highway Patrol has not been adequately monitoring keycard access to the state capitol building. Keycard access allows state employees and contractors to bypass security when they enter the capitol building. The audit shows a 56% error rate of access. Keycards issued to contractors, some for as long as 78 years. The report shows 28 active access cards for contractors who have completed their jobs and 13 terminated state employees who still have access to their cards. North Dakota state agencies had one last chance to make their case for a piece of a $1 billion federal spending package. They're trying to whittle down nearly $10 billion in requests to less than $1 billion. Lawmakers now have 4 days to figure out what to do with the federal funding unless Governor Burgum calls for a special session. The Christian missionaries kidnapped in Haiti are being held hostage near the nation's capital. According to officials, it's in a dangerous neighborhood controlled by the gang, who say it's too dangerous to go there. The missionaries were believed to be staying at a different compound outside the capital. On Saturday, the group was kidnapped while driving back from visiting an orphanage. The gang is now demanding $1 million per captive.
Her mask would fall down, and they got on her about that and gave her multiple pieces of tape to cover her face.
School officials in Colorado are investigating after some parents say their kids were made to tape their masks to their faces. Ashley Franco says officials haven't made any concrete findings yet, but they're interviewing students and staff members.
Between Friday and Monday morning, we received many other allegations, and we actually didn't receive them. They just started floating all over social media.
The district says what started as only one parent coming forward to the district saying that her 6th grade daughter's mask was taped to her face turned into a social media frenzy. Now D20 leaders are investigating to see what's true and what's not.
Because of social media, we now have so many other voices in the mix that may not have been involved. And so now there's misinformation that's mingled in with the actual facts. And
a second parent whose daughter is in the same class also says the taping happened.
The 2 male teachers in her pod were wearing the blue masking tape like wristbands or like bracelets around all day. Her mask would fall down, and they got on her about that and gave her multiple pieces of tape to cover her face.
She says her daughter told her multiple kids in her class have experienced the same thing.
Very frustrating, and it's hard enough for the kids to live in the world that it is right now, and it's just making it worse.
The district is asking for patience during the investigation, and they also have a message going forward.
It's for those families within the district that might not know what's going on before they spread information, that they let us do our investigation so we can get the facts out about something like this.
The district wants to complete its investigation by the end of the week. The new Amazon facility wants to hire more employees in time for the holidays. So far, 300 employees have been hired, but the goal is to reach 1,400. Newly hired employees have access to a variety of benefits, including competitive pay and an education package. One employee says although the benefits are attractive, working the job gives him fulfillment, knowing as the holidays approach, he's helping families waiting for packages.
Absolutely. After working here, I really started thinking about more than just the job. It's about what you're doing for the community around Fargo area and North Dakota.
The new 1 million square foot facility is the largest building in North Dakota. Still ahead tonight, Trump advisor Steve Bannon is one step closer to being charged with criminal contempt. Next, we'll break down the next steps and why it's unlikely he'll see those charges.
And that hunter's moon is shining brightly in the Devil's Lake Basin heading into the evening hours. Many of us have cloudy skies over the valley. That'll keep us from getting too cold tonight, but Thursday a hard freeze is in store for many areas. I'll have hour by hour details. Join me. Weather is next.